Did you know that USA might have had a Canadian president? Yeah, President Arthur was born on the border, and some say that he was pushed out on the wrong side of the border. Anyway, here are some fun facts about American presidents through the times. Number 1. President Harrison is the shortest sitting president in US history. He died 31 days after his inauguration and the first to die in office. His death also caused somewhat of a crisis, as it weren't obvious at the time that the vice president were next in line as president. And why did he die so soon? Well, he took office on a particularly rainy and cold day, and he wanted to look tough and chose to not wear any warm clothing. This, combined with holding the longest inauguration speech ever held, gave him a pretty bad cold that cost him his life a month later. So you can almost say that he killed himself that way. So, if you ever wonder whether or not to dress according to the weather, remember Harrison. And a bonus fact about Harrison, he can also be said to be the last English president, as he was the last one to be born before the independence. Number 2. The first assassination attempt on a president were done in 1835 on President Jackson. The attempt failed, but Jackson was a man with a temper and proceeded to attack the assassination man with his cane. The attack must also be both the luckiest and most unlucky for the assassinator, as Lawrence, the attacker, had a misfire not only on one gun, but both his guns, when he tried to shoot Jackson with them. After the attack, the guns were tested and fired perfectly every time. That is a strike of luck. Number 3. President Tyler was one of a kind in several ways. He is the president with the most children. He must have been quite an active guy, if you know what I mean, given that he had a whopping 15 children. In fact, he had so many children that he left Congress in order to practice law in order to finance all of his kids. Fact number 4. Tyler is the only president buried under a flag that is not the Stars and Stripes. In fact, he was buried under the Confederate flag due to his allegiance to the Confederates. This again is partly due to his daughter being married to Jefferson Davis, which was the Confederates' president. Fun fact number 5. Tyler never ran for a second term, and as he only were elected as vice president in the first place, he actually is the only president ever that never ran for office as president. But that being said, he can be said to have served a full term as president, seeing that he took office after Harrison, who, as you remember, died only 31 days into his term. Number 6. President Polk also never ran for a second term, and together with Tyler, they are the only ones that were satisfied with only one term. Seeing that the Speaker in the House of Representatives is a pretty highly seen position, it is noteworthy that Polk is the only one that has been both Speaker and President. Fact 7. Teddy bears. The teddy bear that all children love and we all remember from our own childhood is named after President Teddy Roosevelt. It all originated from a hunting trip in 1902, when Roosevelt were offered to shoot a tied-up black bear, but refused it as unsportsmanlike. This again became the topic of a cartoon that again inspired Maurice Mictham, the founder of teddy bears, to make a stuffed soft bear cub that he called Teddy's Bear. And that is the origin story of the beloved teddy bear. Fact number 8. So, ever heard of the Canadian President of the United States? Well, President Arthur might have been just that. He was born in the uppermost parts of Vermont, and some tongues tell the tale that it actually was right on the Canadian side of the border that he was born. But is this true? Well, it's really hard to say, given that even his date of birth is disputed, and the fact that births at the time weren't exactly documented the way they are today. One thing we know though is that this is the house that he grew up in, and that house is in the US. Number 9. Ever wondered where Garfield the cat got its name from? Well, want to know more? He's actually named after the president. More exactly, he's named after the creator's grandfather, which again was named after President Garfield. So, kind of a far stretch, but still true. Number 10. The willow tree growing at President Johnson's grave is actually grown from a branch of the willow on Napoleon's grave. I bet you didn't know that. So, it can be said that Napoleon and President Johnson rest under the same tree. And finally, fact number 11. Not a president, but a vice one, aka vice president. Vice President Burr is probably the only vice president, or president hopefully, that have murdered someone while in office. On July 11th, 1804, Burr and Hamilton, former Secretary of the Treasury, met for a duel in New Jersey. It is thought that Hamilton fired first, but missed intentionally, while Burr shot Hamilton in the abdomen, killing him. The guns used are now on display on 270 Park Avenue in New York City, so that's worth a visit if you're ever there. So, that was 11 fun facts about American presidents. Tell me what you would like to hear next, and of course, subscribe, hit the bell, like the video. Thank you very much. Until next time, goodbye.